What's shaking, cats and kittens? Thank you for supporting my podcast and my sustaining partners. I want to tell you about one of them right now, Charmington Holistics. Do you know what an apothecary is? Well, an apothecary makes and provides medicines. Charmington Holistics specializes in all natural herbal remedies and is an apothecary. So, what's ailing you? Can't sleep? Got a stomach ache? Got the blues? Well, head on over to Charmington Holistics where you can find herbal support for anything you need. A personal blended tea, herbal tonic, and supplements can offer you an alternative to that Advil bottle, while an in-house herbalist listens to your needs as well. Charmington Holistics is your source for all things herbal. Head on over to 425 South Conklin Street in Highlandtown or visit Charmington Holistics on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. And Charmington Holistics is open 12 to 5 on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Head on over, check them out, tell them Rob Lee sent you. Welcome to Getting to the Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee, and this is on MTR Podcast. My next guest is you're veteran tattoo artist and founder of Free Ink. Please welcome Anthony Inkboy Chestnut. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
So usually I try to get that start off to kind of help the unwashed masses, those who are uninitiated. Give them the vital stats. Who are you? What are you doing? Where'd you grow up? All of that stuff. Give them those details, those early on details.
All right. Well, I'm originally from upstate New York. I've been here in Maryland and Baltimore since '97. I went to Walbrook. This is, I think, like my third or fourth shop for real. I'm an entrepreneur, author, inventor. I got my hands in like a bunch of different things for real. Yeah. I just don't stop for real. I just gotta keep it moving, and that's my thing.
Yeah, I kind of peeped that and going through. I was like, the information is sparse. I was like, the artwork is out here. I was like, the work is out here. I can see all of that. I was like, what? It's like I see different things. It's like mysterious somehow, right. But also out there. It's like a duality there. So. For you, since you've been tattooing for what, about 15, a little bit longer than that?
15 years plus.
So talk about that background. How'd you get into tattooing?
Me and a good friend back in the day when I was in Walbrook, I would say like my senior year, people would ask me to get, for me to draw their tattoo up, and I would. Only problem was once they took my artwork and came back, they're like, look, I got it. And I'm like, that's not what I drew. Like, that don't look nothing like what I drawn for you. And like my best friend at the time, he was like, why don't you just do tattoos? And I'm like, why you wait till 12th grade to tell me this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have been rich if you would have told me a little bit sooner. But like ever since then, it was just like on from there. I had extended the option. I was like, you know what, man, you told me to start tattooing. You can have free tattoos for the rest of my life, man. Like he was pretty excited, but after a while, it just dawned on me, like, you can't do this. You cannot tattoo them for free for the rest of your life. So
that's one of those things. You hear that initial story about how someone, it's like, yeah, man. You're an artist, man. Yeah, man. If I can find a way to get tattoos on me, I can be your canvas. It's like, all right, well.
Right. Well, Baltimore, everybody, I don't care if it's your first day of tattooing or whenever, anybody and everybody would take a free tattoo. That's just what I learned here. Like, they don't care how long you picked up the machine, how long you've been using it, if you have any artistic skills at all. Yeah. If you have a tattoo machine, people are trying to get tatted, especially if it's free.
Well, since you're touching on that kind of segues into this follow-up question that I have. So what do tattooing, that's, I guess, one part of it, and what does... So let me say it differently. What do tattoos mean, and what does tattooing mean to you? Being that you're a person that obviously has tattoos, and you're a person that has been doing tattoos for a nice chunk of your life, what do they mean when you're receiving them? What do they represent to you? And what does the act of tattooing someone mean?
Well, like, I know when it comes to like tattooing people, it gives me like a great sense of pride that they like trust me enough for real. Like, they don't even know my whole story. They just know that I'm really good with like the machine for real. And, I done met so many people along the way, and the stories that come with some of the tattoos, and, Shoot, I'm on what, like antidepressants, so that joint regulates my mood. But like some of the stories for real are like tear worthy, of like the cover ups of like their cut scars, or I had a client who said that I was covering up these burn marks on her leg, and I was just like where did these come from? And she was like, oh well, my aunt put me and my brother in the oven and cut it on high. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Right. Like, well, and then from ever since then, I learned don't ask the question you don't want the answer to. So I'm very cautious now because that set me back for a couple of days for real. Because, the aunt ended up getting like sentenced to like a mental facility for like the rest of her life for real. But it was just, a lot of people when I'm tattooing them, it's not just, them getting ink on their skin. It's like a story that comes along with it. And either I'm helping or I'm like, encouraging, or they get this tattoo because it's going to make them feel better. And I think like that's what it is for me for real. Like, I don't know, like every day that I work for real, I'm always in awe. I'm always like shocked. Yeah, I think that's like one of the reasons why I keep coming back. Like I done retired like so many times, but I get around people and they start talking about tattoos or like, how they want one. Like I get like the itch for real. And then next thing you know, I'm back. I got one client that be like, you retiring right now? I'm like, yeah. She like, all right, you be back. And I'm like, nah, you don't know my life. I'm not coming back.
It's one of those things like
you be back.
I try to get out, they keep pulling me back in.
They keep pulling me back in, man.
So so there's a lot of vulnerability with it because like we have this one body and having someone come in and you got to trust their artistic the acumen. Obviously, you have to trust like that they have that connection because some people could just go through it and you I'm sure you run into is that people who are I'm a tough guy I can just go through it. It's like no, that tattoos hurt, or
yeah, they hurt.
and like my girl just got a tattoo on her forearm of like this really hyper realistic bee with the honeycomb grid behind it, and she really loves it. And she just like blocked it out. She was like, I haven't gotten a tattoo in like 25 years. And so she has like what are her ankles? She's like, yeah, that one's faded. I need this new crisp one. And she's getting it. And I come in there and I'm like looking at the artist. I was like, if she's in pain, I'm just raising the eyebrow. But they had like a nice console. He kind of got super comfortable and he was listening to what she wanted, what she needed in terms of kind of getting the idea as opposed to, I got to just go through it. I got to just knock this out, move to the next thing. It's a personal thing. I think that's the thing that I'm hearing.
That's like the new movement. I think, well, with my shop and with my people, that's what I try to do. Like, it's not just slapping a stencil on your skin and like, that's what it is. I think it's actually like therapy for like a lot of my clients for real, because I know them now, like personally, like even like to this day, like I text some of my clients and like ask them how they doing. They share like personal information with me and like I give them advice on, their relationship or what they might be going through in life, or like, sharing like stock tips and all this. Like, it's like a nice network for real with me and my clients / friends for real. Like they're like my family, Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's one of those things where my brother and we go back and forth. My brother's got like 17 tattoos and not a lot of color. And the ones I have color in them, and I only have like maybe 4 of them or what have you. And he's like, yo, you have so much space. He's like, I envy your body size. Get more tattoos. And I was like, nah, I'm all set, bro, right now. He's like, come on, man, get more. I was like, is this your degree of addiction that you want to take my body for tattoos? Yeah. You have ideas for me to get tattoos, my guy? That's
how it is with addiction. They want to bring somebody else in on it, so it's not so bad for real.
Come in, man. Take this needle, man.
Together, that means it's not he doesn't have a problem if he brings you in on it.
He's trying to avatar my body is what I'm saying, though. He's like, he's like, look, if you can get this. I was like, I don't want that, though. He's like, but I do, and it will look cool on you. I was like, we got to talk about something different, bro.
He trying to live through you.
I never thought being big in that way would work out. Like, I'm 6'4", so it's just like, you take up a lot of space. So you've been surrounded by tattoos and tattooing since you were young, and you've grown up in this. So speak on that. How has it been growing up from like you said, you were like first interested in like high school to being like an adult, like, you know, having a kid and all of that stuff, that matriculation. Speak on that a bit.
It's been an experience. It's crazy how much like the art of tattooing has grown. A lot of my clients and stuff, or like new people that come to me, like I just did a article in the Sun, and they were focusing on like the different tattoo inks and the issues around that. Like for like a good amount of time, like numb cream wasn't really like available to like, you know, I would say like Black artists for real. Like you would see like all these different white people tatted up, and like, you know, videos of them just sitting calmly getting these big giant tattoos, and people were just like, dang, they eating that. But we didn't know that they numbed for like 2 hours prior, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, I have so many clients that say, this one tattoo artist said, I can't get color. And I'm like, is he white? And they like, yeah. Like a lot of like white artists, you know, can't tattoo black skin for real. And instead of like trying to learn anything, they're set in their ways. So if they come across like a black person, instead of like trying to educate them or like help them through like the situation, it's like, nah, we don't do that. Nah, you can't get color.
Yeah.
And for a good amount of time, a lot of the color inks, you know what I'm saying, weren't really working in our skin for real. And like, I felt like that was like a nice, like, you know, subliminal segregation on the low for real, where, you know, we had to like nigger rig pretty much, like, you know, colors or finagle it into like the skin for them joints to work for real. Yeah. Like, you know, ain't nobody really doing no skin tests on like the white side, but like when it comes to black skin, we gotta do skin tests to see if these colors will work, if they gonna have a bad reaction to them and stuff like that. It's just crazy. As far as like my daughter or whatever, like she looks just like me and acts a good amount like me for real. I definitely see her mother and her a lot too, but for the most part it's me, and I'm super happy about it. I'm saving like parts of my body just to see, you know, saying if she wants to tattoo him for real. I seen this picture of like this artist letting his daughter tattoo him, and I'm like, yeah, I got like the same amount of space saved up for her.
So that matriculation, that growth as being an artist, seeing like how it's changed as far as how it's being applied to darker skins, and just saving that space for your kid. Like, look, okay, you got this rib cage right here. That's all right. You got.
Well, I wouldn't do it. She can't get the rib cage. The dude, he was giving his daughter the rib cage. Right now, I got like a section on my back. Like the back of like the thigh and the side of the thigh. Yeah. Like she can have those areas. I can't let her play with the rib cage at like 6. Like she gonna need some more experience before she can touch that area.
So tell me about like Free Ink Studio and like some of those other challenges. You touched on the numb cream and all, but some of the and just how black skin was being approached. But speak a little bit more on some of those challenges faced as being a black artist, a black tattoo artist.
Yeah. One issue that I've been trying to like erase for like a long period of time is a lot of black people are used to the tattoo party mentality. So when they come to me, if they're not like a regular, like I have like new people and they'll be like, I'm trying to get my whole back done. And I'm like, in one sitting, they like, yeah. I'm like, I don't do that. And they like, but I really want the whole thing done right now. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. And I'm gonna tell you why you don't want it to work like that. One, you don't want me to be tired. You want, you know, this experience to be like pleasant on both ends. I'm not trying to put your body in shock. I'm not trying to rush. And also like the best way to do it is like in pieces, you know what I'm saying? We do the outline one time. And depending on how big it is, like, you know, and how much your body can take, we do the outline and let's say we stop there. You recoup for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, come back, you refresh, your body is like re-energized, and you could take like the shading now.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people, they're so used to like trying to knock the whole thing out, because when you would go to a tattoo party back in the day, like you didn't know this person, you didn't know when you was going to see him again or anything like that. So it's like, I'm giving you my money, you got to finish this right now,
right? Because
I don't know you. And I'm like, look, I own this. Well, I don't own the building, but I'm like, I own this business. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm Googleable. Like, I'm not going anywhere. You don't have to, you know, force this right now. You know, like, you don't have to put your body in a shock. You don't have to do all this craziness just because you're afraid of the whole tattoo artist at a party I guess, syndrome or like, that feel.
Yeah, and part of it is like I had this conversation when I made the choice to get a foo dog on my inner bicep, and that was the first tattoo I had in a while, and I was like, this wasn't the wisest decision. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, and all I've been doing is like bicep exercises, and so I was stuck to my gym regimen. I was like, my fucking arm hurts like a bitch, and And I had a white guy do it, and kind of the thing that you touched on earlier about the coloring. That was the first thing he mentioned. That was what sold me the ticket. He was a guest on this podcast. That was what sold the ticket. He was like, "Yeah, a lot of white guys, they just think they have a limited color wheel." He was like, "You just need to know what you're doing." He was just like, "You can get color." He's like, "Anybody can get color." And I was like, "All right, you sold the ticket. You said some shit that made some sense right there." And I got something that's like green and red or what have you, and I was like, "I'm happy with this. This is what I wanted." And took into account, like, it's one of those things where I remember listening to this like audio book about like chefs, and it's like when you encounter someone that's a chef of a specific type of cuisine, right? Like, let's say you bring in a line cook for a French restaurant, and the line cook is like, "Oh, I cook French food." And it's like, "Yeah, I'm going to give you exactly what I think this should be." But instead of having someone that's like, "I trained you to do this way," that was the thing that I was kind of getting from him. He was like, "You said you wanted this. I don't know if that style works. Here's something that might work. You can get whatever you want. This is your world, but this is fitting the style that you're looking for." So I came there with a suggestion. I was like, "Okay, you're listening and you're providing feedback. This works," instead of just being a yes man, ultimately.
Right.
And it turned out to be a really good experience because in going in it, my estimation and kind of revisiting that the pain that is getting a tattoo and all was you're getting pain to get beauty. You want something that looks cool. You want something that means something to you. And but you're going through some pain to get it. So I just thought it was interesting.
Well, I tell everybody all the cool tattoos cost a lot more than just money. You know what I'm saying? If you getting like that really big piece or that one on your ribs, the one on your foot, like, your head, like, it's going to cost you some pain. It's going to cost a little blood. It's real.
I was joking with my girl. I was like, "Yo, I'm getting my whole throat done." She was like, Don't do stupid things." I was like, "What do you mean?" So how's your current role and experience like day to day now as an artist compared to like how in those first few years of you in your practice?
So like the thing about me, I've always been like a free spirit. I worked at Sprint for like a long period of time. And like once like tattooing came around, it was like, I don't even like my skills were like good to start because I was an artist initially. And like the trick in the beginning is to always just go small, like don't do large tattoos and you'll be okay. And that's what I was doing in the beginning. And once like the money became like regular, I was just like, all right, fuck it. I quit. And I just started tattooing. And like, every now and then I would like miss like some type of structure from like a regular job or maybe healthcare. And I would go back and like, go to the doctor or some shit like that. But then next, it'd be like, I'm working one day and like a boss or somebody was like, "Yeah, somebody needs to go do this." And I'm like, I don't need to go do nothing. Like, you know what? I quit. I'm out. Like,
my man's coming in doing open enrollment. It's like, yeah, I need to get this checkup in real quick. Yeah. Who's hiring? So I'll be remiss because I forgot to really ask. So with the Free Ink Studio, like how did that come about? How long has that been open? Tell me more about that.
That's been open for about like 13 months now.
Yeah.
Before that shop, I had another one called House of Ink. But when I had House of Ink, I was on drugs and alcohol real bad. And I didn't know that I was that bad of a person until I got super sober. And people like, weren't as afraid to tell me like, "Yeah, you were a bad person. Like, you was really bad. And I like you now. I like you so much now. Please don't ever drink again." And I'm like, "Why did y'all tell me this shit before?" They was just like, "No, you was scared."
Like you had a tattoo gun in your hand. I don't know. You were just saying, "Look, King Kong ain't got shit on me." It's like, what?
Right. Man, so like, you know, it came about like free ink, and I've noticed that like with my old shop, it was that big, it was warehouse size, and I actually stopped paying rent at an apartment and lived there. And so my last shop was called the House of Ink.
Yeah.
And like this one now, with me being like free of drugs and alcohol, is like, you know, I'm free. So it's just like, it's free ink.
Yeah.
That's me.
So it's like what I'm hearing is your experience and even like your future as we're at now as a tattoo artist and as entrepreneurs, they're very much connected with you as an individual. And as you mature and develop and go through your different experiences as a person outside of being an artist, those two things are definitely connected. It's like, this is where I was at this time. I retired right here and I came back a little bit, 45 Jordan,
Right. Because with the old shop, it was, well, with the world of just tattooing and piercing in general, it's like drugs, alcohol, females, pretty much anything that you want for real. Like I done came across every type of person. And I used to joke that I could probably get you anything from like a prostitute to like a pistol.
That is a rap line if I've ever heard one. I will say this: you got to put the barbershop scenario in there. It was a barbershop I used to go to, and it had some hood elements in there, like as most barbershops do. And like I said, I'm a big dude. When the first time I was in there, I didn't realize I ripped the door off when I was leaving. I was like, oh shit, my bad, yo. And they had to reattach the door. They was like, this big nigga can't keep coming in here like this. And they were doing tattoos at one point in there. So I was like, is that a stripper? She naked? She can tattoo? I was like, I'm trying to get my hair cut. Oh yeah, we cut you right here, bro. I was like, but that's like titties out, my G. Like, what are we doing here? Right. And my barber was on some like, yeah, I'm trying to tattoo like people. And this guy that was doing the tattoos, and he's like, because you're trying to meet women, right? He's like, exactly. I was like, this is wild. This is a wild culture for me. I just want to get my joint shaved and get out of here. Peace, beloved, or whatever, So what advice would you give? Because like you talked about your early experiences more leaning towards like doing art or what have you that was later used for other people to do tattoos. Like you would come up with the art. So and I think that you're in a more realized version of it now and being the person that's drawing it in some instances and being the person that's executing it. What advice would you give for someone that is an aspiring artist, whether it be just straight, I like to sketch or draw or tattoo? What advice would you give them, or a piece of advice that you got that you're like, you know what, I'm going to pay this forward?
I would say always remain teachable. You can always learn some more, and like I constantly am on YouTube. I done went to like other artists and paid for like their classes. I talked to a couple of great artists I'm friends with, and I don't, they don't mind me picking their brain. Yeah, like, if you can meet like an artist that's willing to like talk to you for real, and, if you're really like into it, you gotta like stick it out for real. Like, it's so sad because Baltimore's culture, and I was talking to a new friend that like, it's so cutthroat that like if I was to take on an apprentice and teach them how to put the stencil on a tattoo of a person, and, clearly, I mean, sometimes they'll just think like, okay, I know how to tattoo now. He showed me how to put the stencil on. I'm a tattoo artist now. And like, next thing you know, I'm like thinking like, all right, you're supposed to be here on Monday. They don't show up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I find out they're across town saying that they, learned how to do tattoos from Inkboy. And they're a whole artist now. Yeah. Like, a lot of young people, just in general, aren't willing to like stick it out and like, get all the skills that are out there or that the person is trying to teach them for real. So I would say like, if they're really trying to learn, gather as much information offline that you can, practice on like fruit and pigskin, and, see if you can connect with an artist. And also if you connect with an artist, make sure that you're prepared to like, stick it out for real. Like I was going down to Atlanta at least once a week to learn from this artist named Anthony. And, I had a 89 Crown Victoria and like literally was like leaving out on like Monday and coming back Thursday. Yeah. And then doing the same thing the following week just to like, pick up the skills from him. And like, I might get there and, he might make me sweep the floors, or autoclave his needles, or it was just like grunt work for real. But like I'm doing this from Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? And like I really wanted to pick up the skills that he had, so that's why I did it. And like a lot of people aren't willing to do that for real.
No, that's true. Like, there's while I love Baltimore, Baltimore I think has a really a lot of good stuff, a lot of good artists such as yourself. And
oh, I love Baltimore too.
No.
All in trouble.
No, all of these good things, but I think there is an impatience there too, because we're kind of go. And I'm sure you seem to be an eclectic individual. So like I remember this movie, probably documentary, maybe Euro Dreams of Sushi, and it was just like him, the sushi master was like in his 90s, like 95 or what have you, and his son was like 50, and his son was still just like trying to perfect cooking rice. You see what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, it'll take you 50 years on how to cook rice right. And it was just like, yo, I don't see that being applicable here. It's like, yo, that's phony. I ain't doing that.
Right. Yes. Like I know like everybody like needs money and feels like money is like going to solve all their issues for real. So, like I meet like so many people, and like the hunger, it's like a different type of hunger. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like instead of I'm trying to learn this skill to, go further in life with it, it's like, nah, I need to learn this skill so I can like start making money tomorrow. So I can like, feed my family, so I can do this, so I can do that. I got bills to pay. And like, I think like when you approach it like that, you're doing it wrong. You know what I'm saying?
It's a set of skills, I think. And like in any version of like art, I think it's all applicable. So like I look at it as like, and maybe you agree, but I look at it like, it's a living, breathing thing, whatever it is, your craft, right? So if I'm as a podcaster not trying to learn how to solve problems, not trying to learn how to improve my audio quality, not taking feedback and all of these different things, I know it, letting my ego run it, I'm not going to go far with it. It's going to be something that it eventually it self implodes and I'm no longer doing it. I read that you're a problem solver, so that's why I kind of threw that one out there. Is that true? And what skills do you rely on in solving problems within tattooing and in everyday life?
I have like an extensive background in customer service and like sales. So like, I used to work for what was it? MCI out in Hunt Valley or whatever. And there was a dude named Charles Davis, and like Charles Davis was like the smoothest dude you ever like wanted to see. Like he was like boiler room times like 20. He called some like guy in like Texas, and like when he answered the phone, you knew he was white. And like he like introduced himself like, this is Charles Davis, yada yada yada, calling from MCI. And this was like that 10 cents a minute type of thing for real. And the guy was like, I don't want that shit, and like hung up. And like, he was so loud that everybody like watching this call was like, oh, all right. Fucking Charles Davis called him back. And like, saying like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, we got off on like the wrong foot. I feel like he was thinking like I was selling something. Like, nah, like I'm calling you to help you. And I was just like, what? Like, he was like, I got something that you need for real. And like broke it down. And like, next thing you know, like Charles Davis like sold this dude. And I was just like, wow, like I want that skill. And like, from then, like I have friends now that would just like ask me questions of like, how can I do this? And I'm like, well, that seems like impossible. And they was like, well, I thought you could help me. And I'm like, well, all right, no, hold on. Well, what we could do is we need to look for warehouses that it might be like foreclosed. I know somebody that can get us a listing from that. From there, we can apply for grants. On top of that, we can see like if we need to start a nonprofit. And like, next thing you know, like my brain just starts to like tick, and I just like go off for real. And like I've done solved and helped so many people that way. I can do it for others, but when it comes to myself, it's like the mechanic, you know what I'm saying? Like my car might be the raggediest one, but I could fix yours though.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like I present myself as a problem solver. I'm a data analyst in my day job, and it works. Like, you start thinking of things in that way, but yeah, it doesn't really work for yourself as well as it does for others. And I think I know why. I think it's because you have a lack of investment for someone else's situation. So you can think about it more openly and broadly, but when it's yours, you have these other things tied to it. It's like, well, I'm doing that for this reason. I really like this. And it may not be logical reasons. Whereas when it's somebody else's, it's purely logical. What makes sense?
Okay.
You're an assassin. Yeah. I run into that all the time. That's what I've learned. So the last question I have, and I do have a group of rapid fire questions I'll tell you about in a moment, but the last question that I have is, what was the either first tattoo that you had, that you've received, or the first tattoo that you did, and was there an interesting story attached to it?
So the first tattoo I've ever received was, let me see, is it this one? All right, it's a I and the word lie underneath it. Now, I didn't think about it too much in the beginning, but when I first got here, I was really into poetry. And so it was supposed to be lyrically I entertain, and they got the eyeball right here. But like my voice didn't change. Like this is like, I guess like the best that it's going to be right now. But beforehand, it was way more high pitched. And so like everybody was telling me like, it's okay, just calm down. Your voice is going to change. And I'm like, I needed to, because one, I just got here from Georgia. So I had a Southern drawl.
Oh, no.
I had my little bit of New York trying to fight through, and then I had puberty happen. So
you're like, what do you mean, guys?
Yes, but then it also would drop.
Oh,
so,
no.
Like, what do you mean, guys? It would just go up and down and all this other type of stuff. And so like I was just like trying to wait patiently, and I was like, I'm real gun ho about stuff. So I was like, if I get this tattoo, that's gonna be like a sign, because it's written on my body that I gotta do poetry and I gotta stay true to it. And next thing you know, like when my voice didn't change up, it just stopped. And then like females would see it and be like, I lie. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you just telling us like, yo, I might be a fuckboy, just so you know.
Yes. And like some people would see it and be like, Allah. And I'm like, how did you get Allah from that? No, you just trying it. Like you reach it too hard. But yeah.
I remember I got this Oni tattoo on the front side of my bicep. Like all of my tattoos are on my like left bicep. And my mom is like faux religious sometimes, and she's like, "What's this demon shit on your arm?" I was like, "It's an Oni." She's like, "Yeah, but why?" And I was like, "What? We're doing something different right now." I was like, "It's not even healed. It's covered in like the fucking thing. It's like it's not even finished healing. Let it do its thing." So now I want to get into some rapid fire questions, and from there, I'll hand it over to you for you to shamelessly plug anything that you want to plug, and we'll wrap up there.
Okay.
So rapid fire questions, they go like this. I just ask you a question. There's no gotcha questions, nothing weird. But it's more so to get an insight on you as an individual. So it might be like, yo, what's your favorite song? Something like that. All right.
Okay.
And you don't have to provide any extra context either. So you don't have to like say, so first question, favorite movie?
I would say Natural Born Killers.
Okay. Last song that you played or you listened to?
Lil Wayne, Faith.
What was the first tattoo that you did? See, this is the other part of what I asked you previously.
Yeah. First tattoo that I did was a tribal dragon on my homeboy Easy.
Now, this one is going to be a controversial one, but I think it's funny. Me and my girlfriend's kid, we always kind of make fun of like people with trash tattoos. He's a tattoo fan, and he has like a bunch of anime tattoos on his legs. And he's just like, yo, if I see another like trash panther on someone's bicep, I'm gonna be real pissed. And so he's like, yo, that's overdone. What from your opinion, as being a person that's seeing a lot of people with ink, having a lot yourself, what is that most overdone tattoo, specifically on Black people? What's the one that you're like, I don't want to do another one of those? I mean, if that's what you want, bro, but
right. All right. So depending on like the era, it was the panther, the paws, the bit strawberry. Right. Oh. That's like our mothers. Those like our mothers and like grandmothers with those.
The cherry or the titty and shit.
Right. And it's like bit and it's like tasty or like wet or something like that. No. I would say a couple of years ago it was the infinity sign with like names in it for real.
Yeah.
I know like dream catchers, and I would say now probably like anchor symbols are like real like popular. and like everybody just is like overdoing it for real, like not even like looking into it or anything like that. It's like, I want this. I saw somebody with this, or I done had like a bunch of people like, I want Rihanna's tattoo, or I want this right here.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those. It's like, yo, if y'all sending out some interesting photos, you know how we can tell who you are, right? Like, what are you doing? Now, the last question I have within this rapid fire is, because we had to bring it back to Baltimore, full circle. Got to bring it back. Mm-hmm. Favorite place in Baltimore, favorite landmark, that kind of situation. What's your favorite place in Baltimore?
Ooh, I would have to say, probably Norma Jeans.
I dig it. It's a lot of tattoos floating around there because it's so much skin. A lot of
tattoos, yes. It's a beautiful place. Honestly, like I wouldn't mind if like they gave me like a booth and I could just like type my work up there, or you know what I'm saying? Like honestly, it needs to be places like that for real. Because like just to be around like the nudity and to like embrace it, but then like not be bothered. But you know what I'm saying? Just to like be working for real. Music going.
There's a specific brand of music that plays in there. That's out of the gentleman club, adult clubs that I've been to. I've gone to that one the most, and the other one that I've gone to, I remember yawning in a stripper's face, and I was like, yeah, man, this didn't really work out now, did it? Right. So that's pretty much all I had. So now it's on you. Anything that you want to plug, your social media, website, any of that stuff that you want to plug. And I want to thank you again for being on the podcast. This has been wonderful.
Oh man, thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much. My shop is Free Ink LLC on Instagram. I'm Wow Inkboy, WOWINKBOY. Oh, my good friend Cookie, she is an awesome photographer. And hers is, what's yours? Cookie Captions Cookie _ Captions on Captures. I apologize. On IG. She's right here. Let me do the interview at her house. She's so awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm happy, man. Thank you again.
Yeah, this has been great. So I'm gonna sign off. So for Inkboy, thank you so much. I am Rob Lee, saying that there's art in and around Baltimore. You just gotta look for it.